Let's talk a little football, a little college football. And there seems to be a push for a narrative to be out there about the fact that Georgia Bulldogs are not going to be as good in 2022 as they were a year ago when they won the national championship. Now, I will be the first to admit that it's very unlikely the Georgia defense is going to be as good as it was last year because that was a historic defense. But for those who may be out there pushing the fact that Georgia is going to take a step back this year because of the number of players who went to the NFL, don't believe it one bit. First of all, on defense, even though they did lose Nakobe Dean, Jordan Davis, Channing Tindall, we go on, there's still great players on that defense. Remember, Tyke Smith was an all-conference player when he transferred to Georgia a year ago, and he didn't really play because of injuries. Now he's going to be in that secondary with Khalil Ringo, who's going to be a top pick in the NFL draft next spring. You've got the linebackers. Yes, they've got a lot of linebackers to replace. There's no question about it. But Nolan Smith is back. He's going to be a big part of that. And Jalen Carter is going to be on the line. And while he may not be as good as Jordan Davis, well, some people think he may be as good as Jordan Davis was. So there's a lot of talent on that defense. And we got to, of course, look at that offense and see they are led by Stetson Bennett. Now, I know people don't want to talk about the fact that a three-star walk-on quarterback from Blackshear, Georgia, actually won the national championship for the Georgia Bulldogs, but he did. I may have a little bit of a question about the running backs only because we don't know who's going to step up and replace the James Cook and Zamir White combination, but I think they've got plenty of candidates led, of course, by Kendall Milton. Receivers, oh my gosh, Jermaine Burton went to Alabama. What are we going to do? Well, they've got plenty of receivers. Of course, A.D. Mitchell was pretty good in the national championship game, wasn't he? And, of course, the tight ends are there. Gilbert, Brock Bowers, Darnell Washington. There's nobody in the country that has a better group of tight ends than Georgia. Offensive line's already being looked at as one of the best offensive units in the country. So what is everybody concerned about? And then you have to have someone else in the SEC East to push Georgia. Now, I'm not saying that Tennessee and South Carolina and Kentucky will not be a challenge because they will be, particularly when Georgia goes on the road. But those teams still have to get close to Georgia's talent level. And there's a gap there, just like there is in the SEC West with Alabama and everybody else. There is a gap between Georgia and everybody else in the SEC East. Yes, the Bulldogs will have a little bit of a hangover on the national championship. They'll have to get through that. But Kirby Smart is probably telling his players as we speak that 2021 is over and it's now time for 2022. So this is going to be a very good team. Are they going to win the national championship? Well, I don't know the answer to that. They're going to have to get through Alabama. We know that, whether it's in the SEC championship game or later. But this is a very good team. They are still the best team in the SEC East, and that's the first thing they've got to do. They've got to win that division, get to Atlanta, and then see where they go from there. But don't let anybody tell you that this team is going to take a step back like LSU did the year after they won the national championship in 2019. It's just not going to happen.